What's up, Jewel Gang? Now it's Monday. I'm headed to the office because I got some packages down there, and I guess they were too big to put in our concierge box. So I'm running out to the office, pick up my packages, check the mail, bring that back up here, and then head back down to the gym. Got off track, but it's the holidays. It's the holidays, so not an excuse, but an explanation. So I'm definitely gonna get back on track starting today. Alright, so I dropped all my packages off and my mail, and now I'm headed down to the gym. I'm going, but on the way down there, have a little chit chat. It's about something I'm thinking about doing. I haven't quite made up my mind yet. I'm hesitant on doing it. I haven't quite made up my mind if I want to do it yet or not. I'm leaning towards, yes, do it. Just do it. And do it unapologetically and boldly. What I'm talking about is I'm considering in the month of December, next month, instead of doing Vlogmas, I'm gonna dedicate a series of videos to finding my way to the other side of trauma. And just talk about a lot of personal experiences and events that took place and how I decided to fight for my inner peace, my self-value, my self-esteem, my self-worth, and just myself. The one thing I knew in attempting to heal my trauma is I didn't want to pass my trauma to my children. But because I wasn't equipped to fight that fight alone, I made a lot of wrong turns, a lot of bad decisions. Expose my children, sacrifice my children. I didn't do what I feel is the best by my kids because I wasn't doing the best by me. And at first I thought about, well, maybe I shouldn't do it because I didn't want to hurt other people's feelings. I would be speaking on what I went through and how that impacted me, how that affected me. So, yeah, there was a lot of things for me to consider in determining whether I was gonna go through with it or not. But again, I'm leaning towards, yeah, let me get into this gym. I didn't want to have the camera out going into the gym because there is somebody working out. You gotta show up for you. Even when nobody shows up with you. 2 sprints at 10 for 10 seconds. Whew, y'all. That was a workout. That was a workout. I'm in Costco. We came in earlier. My daughter had her dog, but we got stopped at the door. And I'm on the way out, and this lady is holding a puppy, a big, huge puppy. Y'all look at this. Now my daughter tried to come in with her dog, and they stopped us at the door. I'm going in the back and get some puppy pads for my daughter's dog. But I asked the young lady, was her dog a service dog? She said no. I said, did they stop you on the way in with the dog? She said no one said anything. Oh, y'all, I'm home. I gotta put this stuff away, and then me and my daughter gonna run out to Vons or Ralph's or wherever and get some hoagie bread because we decided to make Philly steak and cheese for dinner. Let me show y'all why. So while I was at Costco, I got what is this? Beef loin New York boneless. This boneless steaks. Look at this, y'all. This will make a good Philly steak and cheese, because that's what we're about to do. I have me some sushi for tomorrow for lunch. I love Costco croissants. I had to get some croissants. I need to throw these dinner rolls out because it's pretty done. They're pretty much done for. I got some coffee cake muffins, and it was 2 for $9. So I also got some blueberry muffins. What else I get? What else? Oh, I love these egg bites, especially for a quick breakfast. And look at these shrimp, y'all. Y'all look at this shrimp. I got the shrimp. Look how big these things are. Look at this. These some huge shrimp. My daughter actually left Costco and went to Petco. She brought me back here. I got in the car and went back because I was like, I better not see one dog walking around this daggone store. And then y'all saw what I saw. Yep, that's what happened. Y'all been wanting some kimchi for the longest time. And today I got me some kimchi. And if y'all don't know what kimchi is, it's basically fermented cabbage. This is cabbage. So, but I like it. And it is a very acquired taste. So I know ain't nobody gonna eat it but me. But yeah, I got me some kimchi. And I think that was it. Yeah, that was all. And I still gotta go get some coffee pods because I don't have any more coffee pods for my Keurig. So I gotta put this stuff away. Thank goodness for this freezer. I don't know. Would y'all section the shrimp off? I think I might section these off. Instead of throwing them in the freezer just in this big bag, just take them out and put them in freezer bag. Because I'm definitely going to section this off. I'm putting the stuff away. When my daughter get in here, we're going to head to the store. And I'll talk to y'all in a minute.
That is nasty.
You really don't like it?
I really don't like it.
She was trying kimchi for the first time.
And the last time.
I like it. I don't know why I like kimchi. I just like it.
Well, you gonna
Ted, I don't think Ted
like
would.
that whole thing by yourself.
I don't think Ted would like it.
Missy, why do you? Does that feel good or something? Why you keep running up and down? Like, I don't understand. What are you doing?
How did I start eating kimchi? Somebody on YouTube was eating it, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna try that."
Yeah, I don't listen to YouTube or TikTok.
Honey, I'm getting ready to cook dinner because we went and got the bell pepper and the onions and the hoagie bread, whatever that is. Y'all ever try this brand of bread? This bread's so good, it's ridiculous.
Hold on in the back. Can I take it back to the next?
I like it.
Well, it's yours.
You don't like it? Y'all like banana chips? I like banana chips.
Those plantain chips.
Oh, these plantains? Oh, I've never had plantain chips.
You ain't gonna like them?
I've only had banana chips. Let me try.
It's a no.
It almost tastes like...
It tastes like no chip. I mean, it tastes like nothing.
It actually tastes like nothing.
It tastes like texture. It don't have a taste, it just got a texture.
Yeah. Anyway, so as I was telling y'all earlier, next month I'm planning on doing a series, Finding My Way Out of Trauma. Because you don't get over trauma, you gotta heal from it and you work your way through it. Connor, what you think? About what I just said, like doing a series talking about like how I started realizing things was wrong and how I tried to figure out how to fix it and how I wanted to heal and wanted us to heal and one that's not to function as a toxic, dysfunctional family. And the reason I say that because I'm gonna be very transparent about a lot of stuff that went on, even with y'all, with me leaving y'all in Virginia. Yo, let me tell y'all about that. And I'm gonna end this vlog after I tell y'all about that. So there was one point in time where the house I grew up in was condemned. I was still engulfed in my trauma, trying to get my family to accept me. And this is what happened when you don't break free from your trauma and you have children. You will then pass your trauma on to your children, because you will place them in vulnerable situations, expose them to things that if you were in your trauma you would never expose your children to. So the house I grew up was condemned. I was living in Charlotte at the time. This was like 1999, no, 2000. And I went to Charlotte. I was able to get a Section 8 voucher, so I was living in a house. I actually was living in the suburbs in Charlotte on Section 8. So my mom called and said that the house had got condemned. One of my mom's old neighbors actually called the city. The house was bad. It was bad.
It didn't have no running water.
No, it had running water. It didn't have hot water. It was bad. It was.
What I remember is we had to drag the water hose from outside to the bathroom to fill up the bathroom.
Right. We wasn't living with my mom when the house was in that condition. I remember my mom calling and saying the house was condemned. And I said, okay. So in me, like I said, still being in the midst of my trauma, trying to figure out how to get my family to accept me and placing myself in very vulnerable situations, I took my Section 8 to Richmond. And let me just say this. If there's anything in my life that I regret going to Richmond. Going back to Richmond to save them. I regret that. But anyway, so I brought my Section 8 to Richmond, found an apartment, and they moved in. The deal was, oh, I'm skipping the part. Because we all had nowhere to live, my mom found this like children's home. And so I signed my kids up and put them in the home. So, you know, at least they would have somewhere to stay. So once the apartment got ready, the deal was for them to take my children out that home once they moved into the apartment that technically belonged to my kids. That's not what happened. I went back to Charlotte. I was working at Wells Fargo at the time, Wachovia. It was Wachovia. Yeah, it was Wachovia at the time. So I was working. No. I'm sorry, it wasn't even Wachovia. It was First Union. That's all I was going to say. It wasn't even Wells Fargo. It was First Union. So I got a job at First Union, and I was like, my plan was to leave my kids there a year and then bring them back once the lease was up. But what I found out is my mom was leaving my kids in the home even after she moved into the apartment. So, and then what I'm finding out is they were mean to my children while they were there. And that, every time, I think my daughter realizes that every time she tells me of a situation or a circumstance that happened, I get mad all over again because I'm just finding out this stuff. I've never spanked my nieces and nephews. Never. If they've done when they used to do stuff, I used to tell my brothers, like, look, your child is doing this. I've never touched my nieces and nephews. Found out my brothers were spanking my kids. I asked my mom about it. She tried to deny it. But my kids separately have said the same thing. So I'm like, why would she allow my brothers to spank my children when I didn't leave my children with my brothers? And let me just say this. My youngest brother and my oldest son are only 4 years apart. Me and my siblings are 5 years apart. So if my youngest brother and my oldest son are 5 years apart, that means that the middle boy is only 2 years older than my oldest son. Why is he spanking on my kids? This is stuff I'm finding out since we've been in California. That, you know, I left them there and they were not treated the best.
Well, I'm telling you like it is. They didn't spank us. They beat the shit out of us.
You hear, y'all? You hear? You got to be careful who you let your kids, who you expose your children to, even family. Because I feel like, I've always felt like I was a black sheep of the family, but the treatment that my children endured in this family while I wasn't around. Let me just add that. I'm finding to be very sickening. Because when I was around, they didn't treat my kids like that. But it was when I was gone in my absence, how they chose to treat my kids that I have a problem with. I'm going to give y'all another example. While my children were in Virginia, I have an aunt that lives in Raleigh who has 4 grandchildren, my cousin's children, the same age as my children. My mother used to allow my aunt to bring those 4 children to the apartment in Richmond, and then they would go to Kings Dominion. Now, these children would go back and forth to Kings Dominion in the house with my children, but my children wasn't going back and forth to Kings Dominion. When I moved my children back to Charlotte, my mom allowed her sister, my aunt, to come with those children to Charlotte, and they was going back and forth to Kenilworth. And I would tell my mom, "Mom, tell her to leave. Tell her to leave." I think my children went one time, but I'm in the house paying all the bills, taking care of 4 children, not on any kind of assistance. My mom don't pay no bills in the house, and my aunt is in there with 4 children, her daughter, her 2 daughters, and I don't get food stamps. I'm buying food, and this was like in 2002 or 3. Anyway, it was right after we returned from Virginia, after I got my kids and went back to Charlotte. So I'm like, and at this time I'm at Bank of America. I'm like, I don't make a lot of money. I'm buying groceries. They eating up the groceries. It's a lot of people in the house, and I'm telling my mother, "Mom, please tell them to leave. Mom, please tell them to leave. This your sister, tell her to leave. It's not enough room." The children were bad as hell. Bad as hell. And I'm like, "Mom, please tell them to leave." But this is a part of me not wanting to cause any waves. Me trying to be like, "Well, this is my mom, let me respect her," in the midst of her disrespecting my space, my place, and my children. But I'm like, "Let me respect her. Mom, can you please tell them to leave? Mom, can you please tell them to leave?" Something happened, and I just blew up and was like, "Everybody get out of my house. Everybody get out of my house." Now, my cousin leave with the 4 kids. My cousin, my aunt, and my 2 cousins, my aunt, and the 4 kids are leaving. My daughter, I think my daughter or one of my sons said something about something of theirs was missing. I said, "You know what? Let me go and go through their suitcases." Now they had packed up all their stuff in the trunk of the van that they drove. They had a minivan. When I say I tore every suitcase in the back of that minivan apart, pulling my kids' clothes out of there, it was a darn shame. They stole her clothes, my son's clothes, but mind you, they had been in my house like, how long, 2 weeks?
Yeah.
2 or 3 weeks. They had been in my house with me begging my mother, "Please tell me to leave. Please tell me to leave." She invited them. I'm like, "Please tell me to leave." I got to the point where I was fed up. I was like, "You got to get out. Y'all got to get out." And I don't understand how people come into your space and don't even be gracious that you allow them in their space.
But tell us why you put them out.
Several reasons.
What was the blow up?
The first one was when you were shaving, and then I was in the room, and the other Quanah, because they named my cousin named her daughter after my daughter, but the other Quanah went in the bathroom and was trying to shave, and she was 12, so I was teaching her feminine hygiene, and my little cousin walked in the bathroom, saw her do it, and started to shave. And then my cousin blew up and was like, "Y'all got her in the bathroom shaving and da-da-da." And I said, "Oh." So my mom, instead of defending, jumped on the bandwagon. And my mom used to do that a lot. Like, my mother wasn't very good at protecting my children at all. Like, if people came around and messed with them, she either joined them or stood back and allowed it to happen.
To show out.
Or tried to, yeah. So my mom wasn't a good protector, and because I just wasn't in the know, I allowed my children to be around us. But anyway, so they was just going on, and I was in the bedroom, and I heard them, and I was like, "What's going on?" And they was talking about how she was shaving on her arms, and the other Quanah went in there and tried to shave, and why am I letting her shave, and she shouldn't be shaving, and my mother joined in. So I came out the room, I was like, "What's going on?" I said, "What I do with my daughter is between me and my daughter." I said, "If y'all don't want her to shave, then don't let her shave. But don't come in my house trying to tell me what to do with my kids." That was the first incident where I felt like all of them was trying to jump on my daughter, but I was in the back room. I didn't like that.
And they did that a lot. They did that a lot to me on several different occasions.
Then the last incident was one of the kids spilled fingernail polish.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
It sounded like a squeak toy going off.
Don't go back there. Come back out here. Come here. I'm sorry.
She done stepped on the puppy, y'all.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
Y'all was witnesses.
I'm sorry.
We talk about trauma, she gonna traumatize the puppy.
Well, she needs to learn how to stay from underneath my feet.
But anyway, so she alright.
I think she doing it on purpose so I can pick her up.
She alright. So anyway, the last thing that happened that made me say they gotta go, it was one of the girls had some nail polish and wasted it on the floor. And I think my daughter went to ask somebody how to get it up. And they exploded. Then they exploded on her. And where was I at when that? I don't know where I was at, but once I got wind of it, I was like, everybody get out of my house. Get out of my house, everybody. And I didn't ask polite, so I was get out of my house. I don't care. I gotta get out. And that day they was packing up and leaving because I was like, I don't care, because the plan was for them to go back to Carowinds, and I threw them out. So I think they went to Carowinds and then went back to Raleigh.
See, it's stuff like that when you play that back and you be like, they went in on her about shaving, and then they went in on her about nail polish. Now imagine the other stuff they was doing. Well, I don't want to imagine it because I already did it. But let me just say this. How y'all be hating on a kid?
That is true though. And it brings me back to what I was saying originally. People will treat your children according to how they feel and what they think about you. Because they don't want to come at you directly, they'll go at the most vulnerable part of you, which is your children. Because nobody mistreated my children in front of me. It was just when my back was turned or I was away. I ain't trusted people with my children. My children should have never been exposed to. And sadly, that's my family. Because I didn't get through my trauma,
There you are.
I exposed my kids to a lot of things that caused them trauma. So we're going to talk about how we're getting to the other end of that. But let me tell y'all something. Since being here in California and listening to my kids talk about their experiences with my family, it's been pissing me off to the point I was like, I wish I would have just disconnected. And y'all would have never met them until y'all was grown. Like, it's so bad that my children that are having children don't want their children exposed to my family.
And we said that as toddlers. Yeah,
Basically.
damn. We was like little, like real little. And we used to sit around and be like, I don't want my kids. Well, I ain't got no kids, but they can't even be around my puppy. And yeah, it was that bad.
And next month, the series begins. I will talk to y'all later. Till next time, we're keeping up with Dad.